asked me to introduce myself a little bit. I was a professor at Sac State for 35 years. Martine was one of my students. Did a lot of work. I was fortunate to work with the United Farm Workers Union for a number of years. Then I retired, and retirement is wonderful when you've got a good pension. For those of you who don't know that, and for those of you who work in Sac City, you're eventually going to get nice pensions. Retirement is wonderful. Now what I'm doing is I'm working in immigrant rights. I'm doing a lot of work on organizing for immigrant justice. So doing a lot of things like that. If you have any questions about any of that, we can answer. So what we're going to do, some people call this a privilege walk, but I'd rather call it an opportunity walk, because when people talk about privilege, it gets the issue of guilt involved. And guilt is not a very useful emotion. I was raised a Catholic. I know that guilt is not a useful emotion. Put it aside. The question is opportunity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some descriptions, and when we do this exercise until we break, you're not to discuss with each other. You're just supposed to do as you're told. I'll make a statement, and then if it fits you, it'll say take one step forward. If it doesn't fit, it might say take one step backwards, or it might not apply to you at all. But what we're going to get a sense of is how opportunity works in our society. Originally, this was called the Horatio Alger exercise. Anyone know who Horatio Alger was? Who was it?
He was a kind of Cam Duke kind of guy.
Yeah, it was the
Fictional character.
What?
It's a fictional character.
Fictional character.
It became kind of the image of the American dream. You could achieve luck and pluck.
Right.
You could make it.
Say that again louder. What was it? What about the American dream? You're absolutely right.
He was the symbol of the American dream. You know, it was luck and pluck, and you can make it. You know, he made it from nothing. It was just hogwash.
Yeah, it was the great
privilege.
image around the turn of the 19th century. This is how you make it. If you work hard, you'll get ahead, and everything's going to be okay. I mean, and that was sold to generations. It didn't begin to break down until about the 1970s. The reason I say the 70s is I also teach a course now on economics in Trump land. So
Nice.
Things started to change in the 70s. But it was the American dream often sold to us up until today, but it doesn't sell very well today. Anyway, it was originally called the Horatio Alger exercise, and you'll understand why. So I'm going to read a statement, and each of you individually, without talking to each other, should respond. And then we'll have a chance to discuss it later. We'll have a lot of chance to discuss it later. So first, would you walk into a store, the workers in that store sometimes suspect you are going to steal something because of your race. Take one step back. If you or your ancestors have ever learned that because of your race, skin color, or ethnicity you are ugly or inferior, take one step back. If you ever attended a private school or a homeschool, take one step forward. If you are now, this will apply to Sac City, if you are now in a school like Sac City where the vast majority of the faculty members and staff are of your ethnic group, take one step forward. If the vast majority of the faculty and staff at Sac City are the same ethnic group as you, take one step forward. If you studied history and culture of your ethnic ancestors in elementary and secondary school, take one step forward. If you started school speaking a language other than English, take one step back. Yeah, you want to let her take a step back? If your parents came from a rural area, take one step back. If you have members of your immediate family who are doctors, lawyers, or other professionals, take one step forward. when you were younger, if you ever got a good paying job because a friend or a family member got you a good paying summer job, take one step forward. If in your family you were given a car, take one step forward. If you were told by your parents that you were beautiful and smart and capable of achieving your dreams, take 2 steps forward. If prior to your 18th birthday, you took a vacation outside of the United States, not including Mexico, if you took, prior to your 18th birthday, you took a vacation outside of the United States, take 1 step forward. If when you were a teenager or in the mid-50s, teenager, if your parents had to sit you down and explain to you, look, this is how people might call you, this is how you may get treated, this is how you deal with it, because you knew you were going to encounter it because it was an important part of your family and community, take 1 step back. If you had a negative role model of your particular identity, whether it's religious, gender, sexual orientation, class, or ethnicity, if you have negative role models of your particular identity when you were growing up, take 1 step back. Give you a little data. Latino children are 3 times more likely than white children to have no medical insurance. And even though African Americans are more likely than white children to be covered by public subsidized health care program, they are still twice as likely to be uninsured as white children. So all Latino and African Americans, take 1 step back. If you've ever been afraid to walk home alone from campus at night, take 1 step back. If when you were in college, that may have been a long time ago, but if you wanted to go on a ski trip or a camping trip with your organization of your students, but you didn't go because you didn't have the money to go, take 1 step back. If you have never had a faculty member who looked like you, that is ethnicity or gender, take 1 step back. If you were afforded the opportunity to take summer preparatory courses at a local community college before coming to campus, take 1 step forward. If you can normally, at your work site, if you can arrange to be in the company of people the same as your identity group, that is religious, gender, sexual orientation, class, or ethnicity, most of the time, if you can most of the time arrange to be with people of your same group on campus, please take 1 step forward. If you have had negative role models of your particular group when you were growing up, take 1 step back. Negative role models. If you can turn on the television or open the front page of your paper and see people of your ethnicity or sexual orientation widely represented positively, take 1 step forward. If you can go into a supermarket and easily find food that fit into your cultural traditions, please take 1 step forward. If you have difficulty finding products for your hair or someone to cut your hair, take 1 step back. For every dollar earned by white men, women earn 72 cents, African American women earn 65 cents, and Latinas earn 57 cents. All white males take 1 step forward. Okay, I want you to take a moment now and just look around at the distribution. And what I'd like to do is those folks of you in the back, like the back, let's say three rows, get together. Those of you in the front, let's say from here forward, get together. And those of you in the middle, get together. You guys can move into the shade if you want. And what I'd like you to discuss is, what did it feel like to be moving forward when other people were moving back? Or what did it feel like to be moving back and watching other people move? So what were the feelings that were going on when this distribution occurred? Just talk to each other. You can talk now.